There we go, I think. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? We'll get started in just a second. Man. Oh, a Black Friday ad. Uh-oh. We're talking about Black Friday today as well. Oh, we are 5 by 5. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, the coffee was done. Slow mode, Nana said. Yep. As soon as I get done with the coffee, I always come in here. I try to remember to hit slow mode. So, River Rat, congrats on being the first one in here this morning. Also, a special shout out to Tech-Tarded Prepper, who left a comment, I think it was on Friday, and said, I'd never get a shout out. So there you go. I do read the comments after the fact. Good morning. Monday morning. It's Monday. Yep. Shorty, let me just say this before we get started. There's a link down below. Shorty is in the chat. Good morning, ma'am. Shorty just had a family member pass away. He was only 18 years old. And they set up a GoFundMe. I put it out on Twitter, but I've also included the link down below. If you're not able to give, that's fine, but they could probably use some prayers. 18 years old, I can't imagine as a parent. So definitely pray for that entire family, okay? Who's in the house this morning before we get started here? Thank you, John Kelly. John, looking good. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I've been awake for an hour and a half so far this morning. So I'm feeling good. I got some coffee up in me. CP Freedom, how are you doing? Prepping Princess, Adam and Alaskan Hatch, how are y'all doing? Salty Gummer, Dawn, and the mods, thank you for being here. I saw Nana also. What's up? Indiana Preppers in the house. Timothy, how you doing, brother? KC, howdy. Bama Jen, Roll Tide. I don't know about that. I don't know about it. I'm not a huge college football fan anymore. I like Liberty because I went there, and I'm also a Mountaineers fan. What's up, West Virginia? So there you go. Indiana Country Girl, hello. How you doing? John Mack is in the house. Okay. So, I'm not telling you anything new this morning, but there's a new variant. It is called the Omicron. We spoke on it a little bit at the end of Shotgun Saturday. And let me just say real quick, Shotgun Saturday, I apologize. YouTube is putting me through the ringer once again. They're making it extremely hard for people to communicate. It just posted. There was supposed to be a lobby and everything set up. Every time they do this, I have to go in. I have to try and tweak, not a Fauci tweak, but an actual tweak of the format and everything here. So there are going to be some changes. You'll see them. But I promise you I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure there's a live lobby every morning, usually an hour-ish beforehand because I know you folks like to talk. But we were talking at the end about the Omicron just a little bit, and all of this intel is down below in case you're new to that word. It is the brand new variant that is spreading like wildfire throughout the entire world. Now, Fauci goes on to say, look, it may be here in the United States already, and we just don't know it. It's spreading so fast. And then a couple of the pharma companies, J&J and I think Pfizer, they came out and said, we're already working on a cure for it. So it's obviously here in the United States. This is the small stuff inside the propaganda that most people don't pick up on. Of course it's been here. The question is, how long has it been here? And how long have you been working on the fix for it? That's what I want to know. Night of the Living Prepper, good morning. Has anyone seen Shia or Bumblebee? I'm afraid if Omicron finds the Allspark, the Earth is in trouble. I have no idea what you're talking about. If that's a reference to a movie or something, that is totally over my head. But apparently it has been here. I believe so too, Paul. Paul says it's a lie. I think this thing is real. We're going to talk about it, but I worry that it's been out there for a while. You know what I mean? For shady reasons. So, and they will probably buffer me, I'm sure at this point. So the great doctor, that's sarcasm, folks. He says, this is a direct quote. I couldn't believe this. He says, I represent science. So in other words, this man is now the Michael Jordan of science. He knows everything about everything. When you think science, you had better think this man's face. Dr. F. You better get it right. Senator Rand Paul, also Dr. Fauci, Ted Cruz also, but especially Rand Paul, they're trying to nail this man to the wall. For those that don't know, they're trying to find evidence. They're trying to put this man in a room with the funding at the time that the C-19 first became a thing, because they both believe that it was pre-planned, especially Rand Paul. He is all over Dr. Fauci, as you folks say. Yeah, there. Somebody says buffer. There we go, T-Rex, of course. It's spreading. It could already be in the U.S. Joe Biden, because of this thing, is instituting a travel ban. That sounds mildly familiar, doesn't it? Didn't President Trump back in the day when the C-19 first started up, didn't he institute a travel ban? Wasn't he called a racist because of it? Yes, he was, because I remember it distinctly. I remember this thing first starting out. I saw it on TV. Trump said, it's coming from this area. We got to ban it. And they said, no, son, you can't do that. You're a xenophobe. So yeah, Joe Biden is now doing the same thing that Trump was accused of being a racist for. Double standards, Mario says. Absolutely. That's all these people are about. Welcome to the new scarecrow. That's all this thing is. So to backtrack here, C-19 started, and it was all about the deaths and the confirmed cases and all this stuff, the headline news everywhere. And for about a year, people lived in fear. Some still do. But a lot of people were afraid. They didn't know what to think about this thing. And then after about a year, a lot of folks started to ease up, here in the United States at least. And then right about the time people were easing up, bam, the Delta hit. Same thing. All right. Oh my God, this is the worst thing humanity's ever seen. This is the confirmed case count. This is the mortality rate and all this stuff. Okay. So this is round 3. They're going to hammer this, I promise you. But I'm not worried about the Omicron so much. I do think it's real. I don't know if it's man-made. I don't know how long it's been floating around out there. But what I'm concerned about is all of the tyranny that is taking place behind the scenes. Okay, so with the C-19, the original, they sacked the economy. They sacked Rome, basically, with this thing. They tore the supply line up. They tore the, our food. Our food started to diminish at that point. They've done a lot of damage, okay? And first responders, nurses, doctors, these folks were all heroes, teachers. So in the second round, they started toying with the idea of a pass. They started toying with the idea of mandates. They placed mandates down. Now the heroes are not heroes anymore. They're lepers. They started dangling. They took the carrot away. They started beating people with a stick. You're going to take this thing or you're going to be out of a job. The tyranny continued. They continued to chip away rights. What I'm concerned about with this particular variant, again, is not the variant itself, but what they intend to do next. What else can they possibly take away from people? Are we headed toward Australia 2.0 here in the United States? And again, I do think lockdowns are coming. They want you to be focused on the Omicron and maybe also climate change while they strip mine the country. While they strip mine democracy, capitalism, they're trying to install something better. Okay, they want a global system. They want a digital global economy. They want everybody in a full-on nanny state. That's opinion, but I think it's an accurate opinion. And they do not want you paying attention to the things that are going on. Over here, they want you focused on the fear tactics. All right, again, just opinion. This will be, mark it down right now, this will be thrown into the laps of purebloods. People that have not taken the whiskey shot, this is going to be thrown into our laps. I promise you. Okay? There's no two ways about it. It's all about the division at this point for me. Lockdowns are highly likely coming soon. Coming soon to a neighborhood near you. For me, the question becomes, okay, are they going to lock down only the purebloods, only the people that have refused to comply in order to punish them into submission? Or are they going to lock down the entire country to further piss half of America off and really demonize the purebloods? I haven't been able to figure this out, okay? But one or the other, they're going to lock us down. Hold on just a second, folks. I got to handle a little business here. All right, there we go. I think it's on backwards, actually. Don't care. So, Fauci, again, I quote, says Americans should be prepared to do anything. In other words, we're going to bend you over the barrel and we are going to have our way with you, America. And you had better be prepared to take it. Because, again, I'm the face of science. The doctor goes on also to say it's still too early to tell if lockdowns are in order. He's went on record and said, I'm not going to say for sure whether or not we're going to lock down America yet. I'm going to say it for you, Dr. F. You're going to lock people down. I've known this for 6 months. When the Delta was halfway finished, I knew lockdowns were coming. It's just a matter of time. You can go back, for the folks that are new here, you can go back 6 months or so. You can pull the videos up, and I'm sitting here talking about another round of lockdowns, okay? They are coming. When you get down to it, you can freeze, you can starve, and you can choose to trust these people, look at them as saviors, and many do. About half of our country, unfortunately, they're looking at Dr. F and the crew as saviors. Please save us from this terrible disease. They are really treating this, somebody said this Friday, like a religion at this point. I mean, they are fanatical about this stuff. Or you can choose to trust the Creator and also your own ability to take care of your own business, to handle business. Do you want a nanny state, or do you want to be responsible for how things turn out in your own household? I didn't need the government prior to the C-19. I'm not saying I've never needed help, okay? I can remember, I didn't come out of the womb prepping. Most of us didn't. Most of us ran into this wall where we're like, okay, it just makes more sense to prepare for this next time around. So I've definitely been in a position where I've needed help, okay? But when the C-19 rolled around, I didn't need the government's help. I don't want their checks. I don't want them taking care of me. I'm able to take care of my own family. But you really can't have it both ways. You can't trust the Savior and then turn around and put your faith in Dr. F and the gang, okay? Because there's some shady stuff going on, I promise you. At the same time, you cannot place all of your trust in them and look to them for everything and handle business there at home. Okay, so it is time to make a choice in that respect, I think. For half of America, the propaganda, that's what it is. It's propaganda and the fear. Since the C-19 started, this has all been propaganda based on fear. Fear is a measure of control. And for half of America, roughly, if you believe these statistics, I don't know anymore, it has worked wonders. Half of America is scared to death. Half of America has been worn down into submission. They're drones at this point. They're going to do whatever the government tells them to do without question. It's the other half, us folks, us rowdies, that I worry about, because eventually they're coming for us. I'm going to go ahead and lay it out right now. This could be financially. This could be, hey, we're going to freeze your account until you submit. This could be, you don't qualify for Medicaid, Medicare anymore, SSI, because you wouldn't submit. Or they could come door to door, folks. I don't know. I don't have those answers, but I promise you they're not just going to let us sit around and continue to fight against the system. They're coming for us in one capacity or another, okay? And I'm sorry that I missed a bunch of chat there. I promise we will go back and get into it. I just want a few, I want to get a little bit of feedback before we move on here, folks. Let them come, Northwest Prepper says. All of the above, Gray the Beard. I think that they're going to try everything in their power before they go full-on martial law. But at some point, it worries me when I see it happening in Germany, of all places. Germany is allowing people to be relocated, to camps and stuff. Not good. Not a good sign. And there's a lot of protesting going on globally that we're not hearing about on mainstream media. I mean, people are tearing down cities over this thing, and it's just not being told here in America. You really have to dig for it. Red state here, not worried. Randy, that's good for now. As long as your state remains red, you should be good to go. But should it flip-flop, you might be in trouble at that point. Germany is weakened by guilt. That is a fair statement. They will start with medical martial law. Hot Rod Prepper, it is beyond amazing to me that we have reached a point where people are asking you up front, they don't have a problem anymore asking you medical information. You can't come to this dinner. What does your medical record look like? You know what I mean? We're getting to the point now where folks are not going to date you or whatever, however the single's calling it now, son. They're not going to date you if you're a pure blood, and vice versa, maybe. I don't know. That is an extremely good question. Sherry, John, do you think we purebloods are really half of the country? It feels like we're a lot less than that. To be honest with you, Sherry, I think we're more than half the country. But I think because of the propaganda and the fear, they want people to feel like they're an extreme minority at this point. That's just my opinion. I don't have numbers to back that up or anything, but I know of a lot of people in my little rural bubble here that have left jobs over this thing in the medical field and everything. They just said adios. They've almost worn my wife down, not to the point where she's going to take this thing. She works in education, so they keep doing this thing where they flip-flop back and forth. They kind of sort of start sounding like they're going to force it on people, and then they'll back off. And they'll say, well, we're not really sure yet and all this stuff. They're playing both sides of the fence. And it's really making her mad because she, every week she doesn't know what she's walking into. And I think she's getting to the point where she's just going to tell them adios. She hasn't come out and told me that, but I can kind of tell that she's burnt out on it. Yes, absolutely, Paul. Please pray for First Waffen. An OG up here in the community, having, of course, medical issues, has for a while now. Ink scars, throwing it down. So the poll this morning, let me pull this up, and thank goodness y'all voted this way, because yes, this is based on something that happened Saturday. We went out to a restaurant. It's one of those sit-down deals. It's not a suit and tie deal, but people were wearing dress shoes and collared shirts and stuff without this. They didn't have this on. And so we're getting ready to eat, and I pull out my pocket knife to cut steak, and she's like, you can tell, when you've been married for a while, you can tell your spouse, their voice. She said, John Davis, what are you doing right now? And there were a couple of people looking, and I said, cutting my steak. And she said, they give you like flatware, silverware, whatever, but the knives suck. They're dull. What are you going to do? I said, no, this is perfectly normal. She said, no, this is cavemanish style. You don't do it this way in a restaurant like this. So the poll question was, is it rude to use a pocket knife to cut food at a sit-down restaurant? 32% of you said, it's rude, how dare you? And 68%, I can't wait to show my wife, says it's not rude at all. It's practical, very practical. My knife was sharper than the one on the table, therefore I used it. It was clean. Somebody in here earlier they said, I just cleaned my fingernails, my toenails with my knife. I don't do all that. So it was good for food. Not rude. There you go. But there were a few people staring. I don't think they'd ever seen it done before. But there you go. So the 3 prepping items this morning. Number 1, aspirin. Should have a lot of aspirin on hand at all times. Number 2, baking soda. Baking soda has many uses. I think it extends up to 18 months, just in a box and everything. Maybe a little bit less than that, but I think it's 18 months. And finally, what would you use these for? Freezer bags. I'm going to use freezer bags. I do sometimes in camping bags. I'll put certain things in there so they're not getting unorganized and rolling out through the bag and stuff. My wife was right. Wow, Tammy, thank you. Thank you very much for that. It does. Marlboro Man, I've used it in water. Mix it with water for antacid. It absolutely does. To keep things dry. There you go, sassy gal. Arkansas living, it was a flipper. Yeah, it wasn't a fixed blade. That would have been even worse. Oh, yes, the wife is right. So Beth's saying. So most of the women in here are saying it's rude, from what I can tell. And most of the guys are like, nah, ain't nothing wrong with that. Baking soda is great for cleaning. Yes, it is. Okay, so not rude. Thank you, Kelly. A female saying it's not rude. Thank you. She must have a husband that does it all the time then. So the scenario this morning, this is a really good one, I thought. You have a new neighbor that moves in next door, okay? They seem very nice. You know, you're waving and everything. Maybe you're checking the mail and they're checking their mail and you got your Prepper Nation hoodie on. You're like, what's up, son? But they come out and ask you one day, you know, maybe you're checking the mail again or taking the trash out, and they just straight up ask you, are you a doomsday prepper? How do you respond? Because that could turn into an SHTF if this person's not on the level there. Don't trust new neighbors, Mastiff says. Because my thoughts on this scenario were, if they have pegged you somehow as a doomsday prepper, then some of that dirt is on your hands. You've not been gray man enough. You know what I mean? So if they suspect it, even if you say no at that point, they may not believe it. Eat the neighbor, OFC says. Oh, God. How did I know? Robert, how did I know? He's all about eating everything. If it's a thread, he's going to eat it. He don't care. I would say no. Okay, that's a good one, American Oma. I shop once a month. That's awesome. People are still saying not rude. Thank you, Barbara. Not rude. I appreciate that. Oh, man. Say, why should I be prepping? There you go, Duck, man. That's a good question. Say, not. I've considered it. Are you a doomsday prepper? Maybe turn it around on them. Rude. Rude, Chris says. Wow. So, last Wednesday, we did a thing where I held note cards up. And it went exceptionally well, except the chat was straight up flying. So what I'm going to do this morning is go ahead and buckle up, put the Hans device on for you NASCAR fans. I'm only going to do 3 this morning, okay? 3. So it'll be over before you know it. That's what she said. Number 1, what comes to your mind when I say bug out vehicle? For me, it's a Hummer H1. I understand they're not very comfy, but that would be my dream bug out vehicle. Or also a nice boat that I can't afford and I'm not near enough water to actually make it work. Somebody said, truck, a lot of Jeeps in there. Jeeps ain't cheap. We checked into some a while back. They're not cheap. But very good. 4x4. And here we go with the chat. We are flying. We'll give it 30 seconds or so and we'll bring you on to the pits for a second and let it slow down. A Jeep. Ram truck. That's what I'm talking about. Ford also. Chevy. I don't know. I'll trust a 10-year-old Dodge before I trust a new Chevy off the car lot at this point. Horse. Very good, CP Freedom. As long as you got the stuff to feed it, you don't have to worry about EMPs. 4Runner, okay. Silverado. Mama Jules like, don't be busting on Chevy now. Land Rover, I love those also, Bill. The older style, I don't care for the newer ones much. Sailboat, absolutely. My feet. The old heel toe express, as me and Caveman call it. The most reliable transportation. Chevy Suburban, gas hog. That's the first thing coming to my mind on that one, especially in Joe's America. Okay, number 2, 5G. Do y'all have any thoughts on 5G by any chance? Can't wait to see this. Tank, yeah, well, that'd be nice. Death. Slow boil death. I hate 5G. Radiation. Worthless. And here we go. The pace car has left the track, so to speak. I do go back and read all of the chat, I promise, and it takes a while on these. That's why we're only doing 3 this morning. Kills brain cells. Military weapon. See, I've heard many of these things. I've not seen them confirmed, but I have heard them floating around the community in several different chats. It's crazy, right? Back to the woods. We got all these people in chat. That is awesome. And how many likes do we have without me looking? Like 12 or 13 probably. The tie throws them off. All right, finally. And this is because there was a poll yesterday that came out, and Democrats said, we want this person to run for president more than anybody else. What are your thoughts? Michelle Obama. I think I spelled it right. I'm sure a few of you have thoughts. PG-13, please. Heck no. Oh, here we go. Not many Michelle Obama fans. Yeah, unfortunately, there was a poll. Matthew McConaughey announced he's not running in Texas, by the way, but there was a poll. It was an independent poll, but they polled all Democrats, and that was the most popular by far. They want that lady to run. They want to get 8 years out of her. Can you imagine what the country would look like after 8 years of another Obama? Wow, somebody said, I hate that guy. So there we go. The speed round is over, and people are still saying very rude things. I kind of figured that, though. All right, so Black Friday sales are in, and they were down slightly against 2020. And they are now saying the stock market is teetering now because they don't know what to think about this. They said that it is going to be a major blow to your mid-level companies, like the ones you see in the mall, Kohl's and all this, American Eagle. I don't know if they're still even open, but the stuff that's typically in malls, the ones that are left. Target will do just fine. They'll make it. They got the cash. Walmart, Amazon. You don't have to worry about the big dogs. But the middle level companies were really banking on a huge Black Friday. So now that rush is over, and they didn't make a whole lot of money, now they have an entire year basically of losing money in Joe's America until the next Black Friday. And they're saying a lot of these companies are not going to make it another year. They're going to go under. So, Kamas Pray Prepper, I'm glad you're here. So, yeah, look for that. Somebody is saying, the Watchman is saying stock market crashed today. I know it's been trending down, and now they are very worried about the variant and also about the results of Black Friday. Who needs another TV, Worminati? Exactly. But I've seen people posting on social media and stuff. I landed this new TV. ReadyWise 3-day bucket at Walmart for $28. Scott, that is not a great deal. I've seen them for as low as 20. But you have to shop around. So yesterday, Taiwan had to scramble its Air Force because there were 27 Chinese jets entering its airspace. And among these jets, 18 were fighter jets, the Chinese. They had some nuclear-capable bombers and some refueling jets. And, of course, the Taiwan Air Force had to chase them away. But what is going on here, folks, is China it's a dry run. They're testing the waters. They want to see, hey, if we send this particular load out, how will Taiwan respond? This sort of thing. And then they're going to Fauci tweak a little bit, and they're going to get the right setup. They're planning an invasion. I promise you, you can bank it. They plan on going in. Taiwan knows it. They just wanted to see how they would react to that scenario, because information is key. And also, over with Ukraine and Russia, that's going to end up very poorly. Yeah, testing the response time, John. And also they wanted to see, I guess, the number of aircraft that responded and what type and things like that, so they can war game for it. They know it's coming. Taiwan knows it's coming. Most people that keep track with it know it's coming. It's a matter of time. So, dairy farmers. We got any dairy farmers in here? They are now fleeing California because of restrictions and regulations that they say will end family farming in California. Many of them are relocating for whatever reason to Tennessee to set up dairy farms. The ones that cannot afford to relocate are basically going to go out of business. They're going to be out of farming in a year or less, they're saying, because of all of the restrictions in California. Little Miss Patriot loves emojis. Well, you've come to the right place. Especially for the folks in the coffee club. They get their Pac-Man and the military emojis, I think, are in there as well. I bought nothing on Black Friday. That is awesome. No, Michael, is Black Friday racist? No, it is actually, they call it Black Friday because it's the first day that these stores begin to make money for the year. So they lose money all the way up until Black Friday. And they depend on a huge boom to their sales. And that's the problem. A lot of these mid-level companies didn't make any money, or they didn't make hardly any money. And so now they're like, okay, another year of losing money month after month or quarter after quarter in Joe's America. So they're in trouble. With Six Shooter, what's up, brother? Six Shooter, for those that don't know, just got monetized. So if you want to help Six Shooter out, that is awesome, by the way, sir. You can go watch his videos, click a playlist, and let it play in the background or something. But that's fantastic. Construction material is a major shortage now here in the United States. It has been for a while. It's getting worse. They're expecting it to get much worse in 2022, and they're blaming product delays. There's a big shock there, right? Oh, PDB. Yeah, train gear. Yeah, the Black Friday, it's an accounting term. I'm not an accountant, obviously, look at me. But yeah, it just means they're out of the red and they're into the black finally for the year. So it is an accounting term. Thank you for bringing that up. And finally, well, there's two things we need to talk about. Number one, 2021, the global energy crisis finally has its own Wikipedia. How do you say it? Wikipedia or Wikipedia? They finally have a page for this. So it's really a thing now. It's not a theory. People say, oh, that's just a theory and you're scaring people. They have their own page now. Again, for global energy crisis of 2021. It is happening and it will get much worse this winter. You can bank on that. When will lockdown start? Tony, excellent question. I wish I knew for sure. If I was a betting man, I would say sometime during the winter because it is easier to lock people down during that time. They're going to be less rowdy. But, that's just me taking a shot in the dark. If I were scheming with the globalists, I would say winter time is when you're going to see some of the global conflict and also some heavy lockdowns. But I could be totally wrong. Wikipedia. Thank you, Connie. Wikipedia. Learn something new every day. And I want to get thoughts on this. I want to close with this, but get thoughts. The Maxwell trial. Yep, that's going down. Joni just mentioned it. Lockdown right before the verdict in the Maxwell trial. For whatever reason, they are not allowing the media in this trial. I find that very strange. This lady is getting ready to testify and throw some of the most powerful people in the world under the bus. And they don't want the media there. Surprise, surprise. Michelle Obama can't win. I worry that she would, Chio. I worry that she has a lot of independent voters as well. I mean, I pray she doesn't win. I pray she doesn't even run. When you think about it, it is strange, Gray Lady prepping. No, it sucks. I don't think it's strange. I think that they are trying to avoid word getting out of who's been involved with this lady. Because I think a lot of your politicians, a lot of your CEOs, very powerful people are going to be involved. And they want to put a rug over that dirt real fast. Remember, what is the company, Wayfair? Does anybody remember that happening with Wayfair? When they had the glitch and they had the furniture that was named after kids that were missing, and the furniture was, just outrageously priced, like $20,000 or something, and they got caught and it went around social media, and then all of a sudden everybody got men in black. They want rugs over this dirt. They don't want this stuff getting out. And nobody ever talks about it anymore, and it sucks. It's beyond, just Vic, it's beyond suspicious. I mean, all of the furniture existed, like the base models were called what they are normally called, and then the same exact furniture was named after kids that were missing. And for whatever reason, $20,000 had been added to the price and stuff. Yes, Ellen, thank you very much. I'm sure she had something to do with that. I can't prove it, but you know what I mean? They just don't want people to talk about it. And they don't want to see it they don't want the American public to see it on TV. They don't want you to be able to watch a live stream of the Maxwell trial, is what's going on. And it just sucks, man, because I guess this is my fault as a Christian. I know I'm supposed to forgive everyone, okay? But people that are involved in stuff like that, I can never forgive them, ever. That's between them and the Almighty. I have no forgiveness for those people whatsoever. And I would really like to know who's involved, and I think Maxwell's going to throw them under the bus. And I think that's why they said, nope, no cameras in the courtroom, no reporters in the courtroom. Muzzle flash. An Aboriginal elder in the Northern Territory has reported that 27 elderly people have passed away within 4 hours of the whiskey shot. And there are over 500 reactions to it as well. Wow. I will research that. Thank you very much, by the way. I'll research that when the live stream's over. That is the first I've heard of that. They will never release names. Michelle, and the troubling part of that is if they're keeping it hush-hush and they're able to keep it quiet, then a lot of powerful people are involved, okay? So if it's not making its rounds on social media, I'm starting to suspect people that run social media, like the moguls, if you will. And again, a lot of company CEOs, these people need to be under a prison somewhere or worse, in my opinion. But they're not going to be dealt with, are they? They're not going to be dealt with. This woman is going to end up rotting in a jail cell, and that's if something else doesn't happen before she's able to spill the beans. I mean, they better have a SWAT team with this lady at all times. Because I do think she's guilty of sin, being involved in all this stuff. But I think she knows everybody else that's guilty as well. And it's not just, sadly, it's not just a liberal thing, folks. This lady has been put in the room with many other people over on the right as well, in the swamp. Cover up all the way, I believe so, Gary. We need gallows now. I'm not going to disagree with you on that when it comes to this. Steph says, I can't believe she has not been Clintoned. I can't either. I can't either. Someone will leak trial information. Indiana Country Girl. The problem is, if trial information gets leaked, there's no way to verify it. You're not going to know what's rumor and what's actually true. And mainstream media will say, well, that's just a rumor. That's not been confirmed. They know what they're doing. They're really going to try and bury this. She's been in the room with Supreme Court justices. OFC, that is very troubling because that's the top of the food chain here in the United States. Freedom of Information Act, Georgia Boy 76. I wouldn't even apply for that because I would be scared that Suburbans are going to start showing up out in front of your house at that point. Michelle, court documents are public records. James, the old devil has the elites in his pockets for a very long time. You're absolutely correct on that. They got caught. Hollywood, I think, will crash. Prepper, it needs to crash. I mean, there's so much stuff that goes on in Hollywood. That's just, I mean, it's illegal and immoral. And they know that it's going on, but because there's so much money involved, they allow it to happen. I mean, it just sucks, man. You know, and I'll close with that. That's one thing that it's really difficult for me to forgive these individuals, okay, because they're putting a price on a child. And that's, to me, that is unforgivable because you know that you're doing it. It's not like you just slipped up and made a mistake. You're pre-planning this stuff, and I have no mercy for anybody that's tied up into that. And I think the good Lord's going to deal with them one way or another. Now, if they repent, that's between them and the Lord. That has nothing to do with me. But as far as my forgiveness goes, it would be extremely tough for me to forgive anybody. Next summer is going to be way different, Rapala. I would love to know why. I would love to know why. Are we going to be locked in our homes or what at that point? John McBean, do we have a troll? I don't know. So, you know, I love the trolls too. Let them come. Let them come. Maybe they're not a prepper and they're just in here trolling, and maybe they'll start prepping or at least understand what's going on. I don't know. Yeah, and I'll arrange the meeting, AV. There you go. But folks, if y'all don't have anything else, I'm going to scoot off here and film a video for Patreon and the Coffee Club. So if you're a member of Patreon or the Coffee Club, here in about an hour, you should see a video. It's kind of, sort of going to be out in left field. So I apologize in advance, but I appreciate y'all being here. Remember, the format's going to be changing somewhat. It's still going to be the same time every morning. And again, I'm going to do everything in my power to circumvent the craziness at YouTube and make sure there's a chat lobby open and everything. Okay, folks? I love y'all to death. I appreciate you being here. And until next time, God bless.